About halfway through the flight, a giant man suddenly stood up in the aisle, twitching violently, like something was seriously wrong with him. At first, everyone thought he was having a seizure. Then he smiled and started attacking people. That flight to Los Angeles became the most terrifying experience of my life, and to this day, my wife still refuses to fly. This happened last summer. My wife and I were flying from Texas to Los Angeles for a 1-week vacation. Everything about the flight felt normal at first. People watching movies, flight attendants serving drinks, kids crying. Just a regular crowded flight. My wife had fallen asleep on my shoulder while I watched the map on the seat screen. We were somewhere over Arizona when I noticed a huge guy standing near the back of the plane. He had to be at least 300 pounds, tall, sweaty, completely bald. At first, he was just swaying strangely in the aisle. Then his body started twitching, hard, his arms jerking randomly, his head snapping side to side. People nearby started staring at him. One flight attendant approached carefully and asked if he needed medical help. The guy just kept twitching. Then suddenly, he slapped her across the face so hard she crashed into the seats. The entire plane went silent. Before anyone could react, he grabbed another flight attendant by the hair and started screaming nonsense. Something about wanting to go home. Passengers started panicking immediately. People were crying. Somebody yelled for help. That's when an air marshal rushed down the aisle. He identified himself and told the guy to get on the ground. The huge man slowly turned toward him, still twitching, still smiling. Then he charged. I've never seen someone that big move so fast before. He slammed the air marshal into the seat so hard, the guy lost consciousness instantly. That's when pure chaos broke out. The man started attacking random passengers, punching people, spitting on them, laughing. His eyes looked completely empty, like he wasn't even human anymore. My wife woke up screaming beside me while people tried climbing over seats to get away from him. Then, somehow, it got worse. The man suddenly focused on the cockpit. He started marching toward the pilot's door while twitching violently. He pounded on the cockpit door with both fists. "I want to drive the plane!" Then he started crying and yelling, "I need to see my mum!" The entire plane felt frozen in fear. I honestly thought we were about to die. A few passengers tried pulling him away from the cockpit, but he threw them aside like nothing. That's when I realized nobody was stopping him. And if that cockpit door opened, we were finished. I'd taken MMA classes for a few years back in college. Nothing professional, but enough to know basic grappling and striking. I told my wife to stay down. Then I went toward him. I tried talking calmly first, telling him to relax, telling him nobody wanted to hurt him. For a second, he actually stopped twitching. Then he looked directly at me and smiled again. That smile still haunts me. He charged at me full speed. We crashed into the seats and started fighting in the aisle while people screamed around us. He was unbelievably strong, like terrifyingly strong. I managed to land a clean elbow to his jaw, but before going down, he grabbed my arm and twisted it backward. I heard the crack instantly. Worst pain of my life. But somehow, the hit finally knocked him unconscious. The entire plane went dead silent afterward, except for people crying. I sat there holding my broken arm while my wife hugged me, shaking uncontrollably. When we landed in Los Angeles, police officers stormed the plane immediately. They dragged the man out in handcuffs while he kept laughing. To this day, whenever turbulence hits during a flight, my wife grabs my hand so tightly it hurts.